So I joined Hypixel for the same reason many before me and after me have joined. Techno's Skyblock series. Having seen a few of his adventures on the server, my interest had been piqued, and I decided to give it a try. I first started by following in his footsteps, getting lapis armor, getting a miner set. I even attempted to get an ember rod for 3 days, a task today that is even harder thanks to all the dragon armor rejects. There's one. There's one right now. Surprise, surprise, look who came in first. By the way, do not go for an Ember Rod. Go get a Golem Sword or an Aspect of the End instead. After having gotten an Ember Rod and a set of Ember Armor, I made my way to the end in an attempt to get Ender Armor. Now this is easier said than done, considering the Ember Rod is trash. So I ended up setting up an Enderman grinding zone on my island for collection purposes. After unlocking the recipe for an Aspect of the End, I finally had a decent weapon to grind in the end with. Still, however, there was one area in the end, regardless of how many talismans I had, godly ender armor, and fully enchanted Aspect of the End, that I just couldn't hope to take on. The Dragon's Nest. The Dragon's Nest is the most popular place to grind at on Hypixel Skyblock for one reason and one reason alone: summon eyes. 8 of which are required to summon one of 7 different dragons. Many players farm up to hours a day just to get at least one eye from their session. The only way to get one is by farming the zealots that reside in the Dragon's Nest, in the hopes of spawning a special zealot, which is a zealot with an end portal frame. In order to speed up efficiency, players focus on their crit damage in order to one-shot zealots to maximize their chances. Meaning, if you can't one-shot a zealot, your chances are way lower than the already low chances of the Mach 3 tryhards. Because the chances are so low for even the players that can one-shot zealots, the demand for them is so high that they are worth pretty much 500,000 coins on auction. This leaves players with only 2 options at this point: no life the game and make money, or no life the game and grind for everything. I personally don't like just buying powerful gear just to compete with others, as I feel it makes the weapon or armor have no real worth to me, considering I bought it like it was just oranges at a market. However, if I was going to be able to seriously grind summoning eyes, I was going to need a better weapon than my Aspect of the End. The weapon meta at the time was limited to 4 options: a maxed Leaping Sword, the Pigman Sword, an Aspect of the Dragons, or a 50 mil Midas. Now my bank account back in November was lucky to break 300k, so a 50 mil Midas was out of the question. A maxed Leaping Sword, although way cheaper, would take a while to grind and was still unaffordable to me. I mean, it's not just spider eyes I need to grind out, but baked potatoes too. The Aspect of the Dragons was out of the question too, as that went for around 8 million, and the only way to get it in-game other than the auction house was to place at least 2 eyes on the end portal frames in the Dragon's Nest, get as close to first in damage on whatever dragon spawned, and pray to RNGesus it dropped for you. However, as I said before, I had been following in the footsteps of Technoblade. In one of his videos, he discovers that Hypixel had nerfed the Sharp enchant, and he went to work on a Pigman Sword. Early on in my own adventure, I had decided I was going to skip over getting a Leaping Sword and get a jump start on a Pigman Sword. Having had 4 level 5 pig minions working around the clock from the beginning of my Skyblock journey, and eventually upgrading them all to level 7 and adding a 5th one, I was able to accumulate a total of 4 grilled pork chops. Well, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. Luckily, however, with the November update, 3 new options were added for zealot grinding: the Silk Edge, which is an upgraded version of the Leaping Sword, a maxed out Raider Axe, and a thick Tactician Sword. Now, I still wanted a Pigman Sword, and in order to get the Silk Edge, you need a Leaping Sword, and I already decided I wasn't gonna grind for that. The Raider Axe is the best bang for buck, as it's only 140k, and in order to max it out, you only need to have at least 50k total wood collected, and registered about 17.5k kills with it. So right now you must be thinking, wow, it's perfect for what you're looking for, Rico Frico. Wrong, okay? For you see, what the Raider Axe forgives players economically, it makes up for by demanding something else from players, something that once you give, you can never get back: your dignity. If there are currently any children watching this video, I ask that you please exit the channel now, because I don't want to deal with that cop of bullshit. With this, I was left with one option: the Tactician's Sword. By itself, it cost only 35,000 coins, does 140 damage, and adds 20% to your crit chance. Now, by itself, it's pretty decent, and you may want to save up to get it, but what really makes this sword shine is the Wood Singularity. The Wood Singularity costs 5 stacks of each enchanted wood type and about 1.5 million coins. And what it does is add 100 strength to a wooden weapon, and it upgrades its rarity, allowing it to better benefit from reforging. Now, I had saved up the money for it, but now I needed to get the wood. I could have just bought the wood, made more money with my full width pumpkin farm, and had it by the end of the day, but I needed the levels in foraging anyways. Nice. 21. So I spent a weekend gathering the materials, and eventually I had everything I needed to one-shot zealots. This was also around the time when the farmer boots were starting to break into the meta, so after about 2 harvests I crafted myself a pair and was able to feasibly compete with the other Mach 3s for summoning eyes, and eventually it happened. Oh, where? Nice! I got 2 summoning eyes, yeah, boy! After farming a generous amount, I was able to make back the money spent on the Tactician Sword and then some, and I celebrated in the only way I could think of. You'll want to fight a dragon? Okay. Okay, so there was like a lot of mic feedback during this fight, so I've muted the video and I'm gonna find some awesome music to like put in the background. Okay, you're welcome. Nice. Ooh, nice. And with that, I now had the perfect bridge between the aspect of the end and the Pigman sword. I had to spend all 8 eyes just to fight this dragon. At least it's a superior. Come on, give me the armor. I really don't want the aspect of the dragons. I wish I'd been recording when I put all 8 eyes down. First one, I placed the second one, third one, fourth one, and people were like, nope, I'm not helping you. And I was like, okay. Oh my goodness, this is the longest fight ever. And that's why I have a whole bunch of eyes, so I don't die. Why do I feel like I'm the one doing the most damage right now? Am I literally doing all the work right now? This is literally taking so long. It'd be awesome if I could get 2 mil on it. Oh, finally, it's almost over. This has been the most painful fucking dragon fight ever. Ugh, finally. Eh? GG. Get flexed on, nerds! Wow. I can't believe that. Well, that's how I got the aspect of the dragons.